Hello, everyone. So, in this video, we're going to continue to read the book of Jasher. And wait, my microphone's way over here. Hold on. I forgot about that. Um, so, anyway, we're going to finish reading the book of Jasher. We left off on chapter 8. So, we're going to go back to chapter 8, continue from there. And tomorrow will be a unique situation because tomorrow I'm supposed to go live and do a video, and I was thinking, should I read the book of Jasher and continue it and try to finish it faster and get through it and then move on, most high willing, to the book of Jubilees? But I'm thinking to just start the book of Jubilees tomorrow. We'll see, most high willing. So if you want to check out the book of Jubilees, read along with me. Most high willing, we'll check it out tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking. I'm feeling that's the best way to go. Matter of fact, I can test it right now. Let's see. Book of Jubilees, Jasher. I'm still with Jubilees. I'm still with Jubilees. And that's how I felt before I went on this, video. So anyway, y'all can also let me know in the comments, Jubilees tomorrow, or Jasher when I go live. So I already got the book of Jasher, the PDF, and this book I think is 91 chapters. I'm not sure. I did check it out. Let's see. I'm gonna just look real quick. Oh, it didn't go. Why it won't go up? What's wrong with the PDF? Oh, now it's moving. What's wrong with the PDF? What? Yeah, get your butt up there. Crazy as hell. PDF wasn't moving. 90. Okay, now the PDF is working. Okay, I know we got 90. 91. Okay, yeah, 91. I thought it was 81, but 91. So we got 91 chapters. Long way to go. All right, I'm going to chapter 8. And I'm gonna share the screen. You can't see it, but I'm gonna share it. Is that chapter 8? Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get it. I gotta make them words bigger too. Robert, hello, preach it. What's up, Robert? I don't know if you're still with me. Oh yeah, you just reminded me of my second idea, so I can keep up with the comments today. I'm gonna use my other laptop. We're gonna see how this goes. Well, really, it's my only laptop. And I'm gonna turn this one on, and I'm gonna go to my YouTube channel so I can look at the comments. If you say anything, I'll be able to see it right away. Because when I'm reading it on the StreamYard, I can't see what y'all saying until I come back to the StreamYard screen, and then it lets me know what you all said. Well, then I can see what you said. My bad. I gotta turn on this laptop. That's what I was supposed to do before I started. I'll try to work that out. All right, so let me share the screen. For those of you who don't know where this book came from, what is the book of Jasher? It came from scriptures in the Bible. Um, the scriptures are Joshua 10:13 and 2 Samuel, was it 118 or 218? 118, I believe. You can check those out anytime. And they both mention a book of Jasher. And David is the one who wrote 2 Samuel. Well, looks like David wrote it. It was in his lamentation. And the one in 2 Samuel. Oh, I still haven't shared the screen. Okay, I see you, Robert. All right, so I'm going to get the screen pulled up. Now, I don't know if you want to get your book out or read it along with me, however you want to do it. But I'm going to share the screen anyway. Share. I wasn't planning on doing this video. I wanted to make sure I went back and watched my last video to make sure and see if I said I was gonna go live Friday and read Jasher, or if it was just something I was planning to do, like possibly, but not officially, because I was tired. I was gonna go to sleep. I was thinking to just go to sleep. Um, but then I saw the video, and I was just getting excited and wanted to read it because of me reading the book of Jasher in my last live, reading the book of Jasher. I'm like, man, I want to read it. I haven't read anything since then. That's all I've read. When was that? Tuesday? I ain't read nothing since then. All right, let me go to YouTube. Here we go. I'm also learning along the way with this, I guess, technology, because I never did it like this. I just was doing. I was going live on my phones a lot. I was using my phones to record a lot. Now I'm using a webcam, which is not all that, but it's a bit different. And I'm thinking in the future I'm gonna start using different cameras. It's a lot of ways to record now, but they even got 4K um, webcams now. It's a trip, but I mean, you know. Okay, so now I got everything how I would like it to be for now. I got the YouTube. Let me make sure I turn that on mute so I don't hear myself. Okay, so I got my YouTube on. So anything y'all say, I'll see it right away instead of having to come back and check it later on. I can just look over, bam, got you. So anything you say or ask, bam, got you. I see I got 3 likes already. I ain't even did nothing. I appreciate it though. Okay, let's get to it then. So how long was that intro? Like what, 10 minutes again? Oh, seven. We ain't do 10 minutes this time. Okay, cool, cool. I'm trying to work on these intros, y'all. All right, so I said I'm gonna work on it in my last live. I'm gonna do some more, then we're gonna start reading. Y'all probably already read some of it as long as I've been talking. All right. Okay, here we go. Let me make the words bigger for you. And for me, you know what I'm saying? Bam. That might be too big. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Let me know what y'all think about them words. Okay. So I'll just give y'all a recap. Bam, then we'll start reading. So we was reading about um it was getting into Terah, Abraham's dad, and we was finna get into it's about to get. I don't want to spoil it, but we're about to get into something that connects with of scripture in the Bible about Terah, and I didn't know this at first, so I'm gonna point it out when we get to it. So I'm not gonna spoil it, but let's just say we're at the part about Nimrod, Terah, Abraham. Check this out. So it says, chapter one, chapter 8, verse 1. And it was in the night that Abram was born, that all the servants of Terah and all the wise men of Nimrod and his conjurers came and ate and drank in the house of Terah. Now check that out. That's something to think about in itself. But as we continue to read, you'll see why the conjurers was with Terah, if I'm not mistaken, and came to his house because they said they drunk in his house. But hey, let's keep going. It says, and they rejoiced with him on that night. And when all the wise men and conjurers, matter of fact, a lot of times when wise men and conjurers are mentioned, well, it just reminds me of wise men and magicians. It just, in the way they're using it here, I don't think they're good wise men and conjurers. I'm just saying. But let's keep going. It says, and when all the wise men and conjurers went out from the house of Terror, they lifted up their eyes toward heaven that night to look at the stars. And they saw, and behold, one very large star from the east, and ran in the heavens. And he swallowed up the 4 stars from the 4 sides of the heavens. And all the wise men of the king and his conjurers were astonished at the sight. And the sages understood this matter, and they knew its importance. I thought it was going to, well, seems like it should have said in four tenths, but hey, what? And then it says, maybe I should underline. I don't even care. Okay, let's just keep going. And they said to each other, this only be told. Really? Okay. I never read this word before. Didn't even know it was a word. This only be tokens. The let me turn on this heater. Okay, it says this only betokens the child that has been born to terror this night. Matter of fact, y'all get a snack, y'all get something to drink, just chill out, hang out. We're gonna read this. Bam. Okay, y'all get comfortable because I can't drink and eat right now, so y'all do it. You know what I mean? If you want to, it's up to you. So let's keep going. So it says, I'm gonna read our comments in a minute. Gotta focus here. Gotta read right now. So it says, look, I lost my place a little bit. I'm just starting back at 4. And they said to each other, this only betokens the child that has been born to terror this night, who will grow up and be fruitful and multiply and possess all the earth, he and his children forever. And he and his seed will slay great kings and inherit their lands. And the wise men and conjurers went home that night, and in the morning all these wise men and conjurers rose up early and assembled in an appointed house. And they spoke and said to each other, behold, the sight that we saw last night is hidden from the king. It has not been made known to him. And should this thing get known to the king in the last days, he will say to us, why have you concealed this matter from me? And then we shall all suffer death. Therefore, now let us go and tell the king the sight which we saw, and the interpretation thereof, and we shall then remain clear. And they did so. I see you, Mason. I saw that. I, I see you. I see you, Julie. Yeah, Julie. Julie. I can't even say it without laughing. Jubilees. Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna try to do it tomorrow. Most I will. Um. So let's see. I think we're on verse 5. Verse 8. I'm sorry. It says, and they did so. And they all went to the king and bowed down to him to the ground. And they said, may the king live, may the king live. I'm just making sure I read 7, y'all. I don't want to skip 7. Okay. Just making sure. Okay, verse 9. We heard that a son was born to Terah, the son of Nahor, the prince of your hosts. And we, yesternight, the first time I think I read that word, I was laughing. It sounded ghetto. It sounded like something somebody ghetto would say. But anyway, and we yesternight came, it's kind of funny, came to his house, and we ate and drank and rejoiced with him that night. And when your servants went out from the house of terror to go to our respective homes to abide there for the night, we lifted up our eyes to heaven, and we saw a great star coming from the east. And the same star ran with great speed. And that sounds like a comment or something. The way they worded it, it ran with great speed. Okay, now that thing was moving then, like a shooting star or something. Meteorite. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking. And then it says, and swallowed up 4 great stars. That's crazy. Anyway, and then it says, from the 4 sides of. Just think about if we saw something like that. That's crazy. And then it says, from the 4 sides of the heavens. And your servants were astonished at the sight which we saw, and were greatly terrified. And we made our judgment on the sight, and knew by our wisdom the proper interpretation thereof, that this thing applies to the child that is born to terror, who will grow up and multiply greatly, and become powerful, and kill all the kings of the earth, and inherit all their lands, he and his seed forever. And now, our Lord and King, behold, we have truly acquainted with you what we have seen concerning this child. If it seems good to the king to give his father value for this child, we will slay him before he shall grow up and increase in the land. And and his evil increase against us. that I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh at it because what they planning and just, it reminds me what they was trying to do with the Christ in the New Testament. Like I saw a comment about that in the chat. Let me move this out the way. Turn off reminders. My laptop is pulling up crap and I don't want to say sorry about that. I see you, Mason. Okay, where was I at? If it's in the beginning of your site, okay, verse 14. Um, I think I read all that. That we and our children perish through is the okay. I think I read all that. Okay, 14. The king heard their words, and they seemed good in his sight. And he sent and called for Terah. And Terah came before the king. And the king said to Terah, I have been told that a son was yesterday born to you, and after this manner was observed in the heavens at his birth. And now, therefore, give me the child, that we may kill him, before his evil springs up against us. And I will give you for his value your house full of silver and gold. I mean, that sounds kind of familiar with today, how they do people. But anyway, um, and Terah answered the king and said to him, my lord and king, I have heard your words, and your servant shall do all that his king desires. But my lord and king, I will tell you what happened to me yesternight, that I may see what advice the king will give his servant. And then I will answer the king upon what he has just spoken. And the king said, speak. And Terah said to the king, Ayan, son of Mored, came to me yesternight, saying, give to me the great and beautiful horse that the king gave you, and I will give you silver and gold, and straw and provender for its value. And I said to him, wait till I see the king concerning your words. And behold, whatever the king saith, that I will do. And now, my lord and king, behold, I have made this thing known to you, and the advice which my king will give to his servant, that will I follow. And the king heard the words of Terah, and his anger was kindled, and he can and he considered him in the light of a fool. Oh man. And the king answered Terah, and he said to him, are you so silly, ignorant, or deficient in understanding to do this thing, to give your beautiful horse for silver and gold, or even for straw and provender? The king don't understand. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, let's keep going. Are you so short of silver and gold that you should do this thing, because you can't not obtain straw and provender to feed your house? And what is silver and gold to you, or straw or provender, that you should give away that fine horse which I gave you, like which there is none to be had on the whole earth? See, the king think it's really about a horse. I'm thinking it's talking about a brand, but we'll see. Let's keep going. And the king left off speaking, and Terah answered the king, saying, like to this thing, like to this has the king spoken to his servant. I beseech you, my lord and king, what is this which you did say to me, saying, give your son that we may kill him, and I will give you silver and gold for his value. What shall I do with silver and gold after the death of my son? Who shall inherit me? Surely then at my death, the silver and gold will, sorry, I was funny. The silver and gold will return to my king who gave it. And when the king heard the words of Terah and the parable which he brought concerning the king, it grieved him greatly, and he was vexed at the thing, and his anger burned within him. And Terah saw that the anger of the king was kindled against him, and he answered the king, saying, all that I have in the king's power, is in the king's power. Whatever the king desires to do to his servant, let him do. Yeah, even my son, he is in the king's power. Without value in exchange, he and his two brothers that are older than he. And the king said to Terah, no, but I will purchase your younger son for a price before you, and let the king hear the word of his servant. And Terah said, let my king give me 3 days. And he pressed the king greatly to agree to this. And the king listened to Terah. And he did so, and he gave him 3 days' time. And Terah went out from the king's presence, and he came home to his family and spoke to them all the words of the king. And the people were greatly afraid. And it was in the third day that the king sent to Terah, saying, Send me your son for a price, as I spoke to you. And should you not do this, I will send and kill all you have in your house, so that you shall not even have a dog remaining. And Terah hastened, as the thing was urgent from the king, and he took a child from one of his servants, which his handmaid had born to him that day. And Terah slick. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. It says, and Terah brought the child to the king and received value for him. And Yahweh was with Terah in this matter, that Nimrod might not cause Abram's death. Makes sense. And the king took the child from Terah, and with all his might dashed his head to the ground, for he thought it had been Abram. And this was concealed from him from that day, and it was forgotten by the king, as it was the will of providence not to suffer Abram's death. And Terah took Abram his son secretly, together with his mother and nurse, and he concealed them in a cave, and he brought them their provisions monthly. And Yahweh was with Abram in the cave, and he grew up. Abram was in the cave 10 years, and the king and his princes, soothsayers, and sages thought that the king had killed Abram. Chapter 9. Man, I see y'all comments over there. Y'all been chatting away. Hello, Jen. I see you. I might have missed some of them, but thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. I finally saw the comment where you say you're doing great. I appreciate it. For a sleepy guy and tired guy. Here we go. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. So chapter 9, chapter 9. Okay. And Haran, the son of Terah, Abram's oldest brother, took a wife in those days. Haran was 39 years old when he took her, and the wife of Haran conceived and bare a son, and he called his name Lot. Ah, okay. And she conceived again and bare a daughter, and she called her name Milcah. And she again conceived and bare a daughter, and she called her name Sarai. Okay, there she go. Haran was 42 years old when he begat Sarai, which was in the 10th year of the life of Abram. Makes sense, going along with Genesis right there, that 10-year, difference. And in those days, Abram and his mother and nurse went out from the cave, as the king and his subjects had forgotten the affair of Abram. And when Abram came out of the cave, he went to Noah and his son Shem. Wait, let me read. Okay, got it. And his son Shem. And he remained with them to learn the instruction of Yahweh and his ways. See, I like this part. And no man knew where Abram was. And Abram served Noah and Shem, his son, for a long time. And Abram was in Noah's house 39 years. Look at how long he was there. 39 years. And Abram knew Yahweh from 3 years old. And he went in the ways of Yahweh until the day of his death, as Noah and his son Shem had taught him. And all the sons of the earth in those days greatly transgressed against Yahweh, and they rebelled against him, and they served other gods. And they forgot Yahweh, who had created them in the earth. And the inhabitants of the earth made to themselves at that time every man his god, gods of wood and stone, which could neither speak, hear, nor deliver. And the sons of men served them, and they became their gods. And the king and all his servants, and Terah with all his household, were then the first of those that served gods of wood and stone. Did y'all catch it? This is what I said I was going to point out to y'all. Terah was an idol worshiper. This is what the Bible talks about, and I just didn't catch it until I read the book of Jasher. But so I first heard about it from this book, but it was in the Bible too. It didn't go into deep like this book does. But Terah was an idol worshiper, a very bad one. to me. It's going to describe it. It's either in this book or Jubilees that it talks about it, but I think it's both actually. But we're going to see. So keep in mind, Terah was an idol worshiper. It's a cross reference in the Bible too. I'm not going to get it right now, but it's in Genesis. So what verse was I in? Verse 8. So it says, and Terah had 12, look at this, had 12 gods of large size, made of wood and stone, after the 12 months of the year. And he served each one monthly. And every month Terah would bring his meat offering and drink offering to his gods. Thus did Terah all the days. And after that, my bad, and all that generation were wicked in the sight of Yahweh, and they thus made every man his God, but they forsook Yahweh who had created them. And there was not a man found in those days in the whole earth who knew Yahweh, for they served each man his own God, except Noah and his household. And all those who were under his counsel knew Yahweh in those days. Wow, that's so sad. Well, it's just not good. And then it says, and Abram, the son of Terah, was waxing great in those days in the house of Noah, and no man knew it. And Yahweh was with him. And Yahweh gave Abram an understanding heart, and he knew all the works of that generation were vain. Another way of saying that is all the works of that generation were pointless, and that all their gods were vain and were of no avail. And Abram saw the sun shining on the earth. Now, this is what King James was talking about if you read demonology, when he said that Abraham, before he knew who the true God was an idol worshiper. This is where he's getting that from. I'm going to keep reading this. So it says, what verse was I at? 12, 13? Yeah, 13. And Abraham saw the sun shining on the earth. And Abraham said to himself, surely now this sun that shines on the earth is Yahweh, and him will I serve. And Abraham served the sun in that day, and he prayed to him. And when evening came, the sun set as usual, and Abraham said within himself, surely this cannot be Yahweh. And Abraham and Abraham still continued to speak within himself, who is he who made the heavens and the earth? Who created on earth? Where is he? And night darkened over him, and he lifted up his eyes toward the west, north, south, and east. And he saw that the sun had vanished from the earth, and the day became dark. And Abraham saw the stars and moon before him, and he said, surely this is the Almighty, who created the whole earth as well as man. And behold, these his servants are gods around him. And Abraham served the moon and prayed to it all that night. And in the morning, when it was light, and the sun shone upon the earth as usual, Abraham saw all the things that Yahweh the Almighty had made on the earth, on earth. And Abraham said to himself, surely these are not gods that made the earth and all mankind, but these are the servants of Yahweh. And Abraham remained in the house of Noah, and there knew Yahweh and his ways. And he served Yahweh all the days of his life. And all that generation forgot Yahweh and served other gods of wood and stone, and rebelled all their days. And King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control, and all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. And all the princes of Nimrod and his great men took counsel together. Put, Mizraim, Cush, and Canaan with their families. And they said to each other, come, let us, I thought this was going to happen. Come, let us build ourselves a city, and in it a strong tower, and its top reaching heaven. And we will make ourselves famed, so that we may reign on the whole world, in order that the evil of our enemies may cease from us, that we may reign mightily over them, and that we may not become scattered over the earth on account of their wars. And they all went before the king, and they told the king these words. And the king agreed with them in this affair, and he did so. and all the families assembled, consisting of about 600,000 men. I don't think Genesis gives us this number. And they went to seek an extensive piece of ground to build the city. And I don't even think of getting into this part, but let's keep going. Of the city and the tower. And they sought in the whole earth, and they found none like one valley at the east of the land of Shinar, about 2 days' walk. And they journeyed there, excuse me, and they dwelt there. And they began to make bricks and burn fires to build the city and the tower that they had imagined to complete. And the building of the tower was to them a transgression and a sin. And they began to build it. And while they were building against Yahweh, the Almighty of heaven, they imagined in their hearts to war against him and to ascend into heaven. Now, this part is it's not in Genesis, where they imagined in their hearts, at least to my memory, that they wanted to go to war against him and to ascend into heaven. That part is not in Genesis that I remember. And then it goes on to say, and all these people and all their families divided themselves in three parts. We first said, we will ascend into heaven and fight against him. The second said, we will ascend to heaven and place our own gods there. Look at this. It's crazy. I mean, we don't hear this in Genesis. I know for a fact that's not in Genesis. But imagine the Most High knowing that they're thinking this, it ain't gonna happen. It just wasn't gonna be a good thing, right? So then they was gonna try to place their own gods there, and then it says, and serve them. They wanted to go into heaven, fight against the Most High, put their own gods there, and worship them there or serve them there. That's crazy. And then it says, and the third part said, we will ascend to heaven and smite him with bows and spears. And Yahweh knew all their works and all their evil thoughts. And he saw the city and the tower which they were building. And when they were building, they built themselves a great city and a very high and strong tower. And on account of its height, the mortar and bricks did not reach the builders in their ascent to it until those who went up had completed a full year. And after that, they reached to the builders and gave them the mortar and the bricks. Thus it was done daily. And behold, these ascended and others descended the whole day. And if a brick should fall, check this out. And if a brick should fall from their hands and get broken, they would all weep over it. And if a man fell and died, none of them would look at him. Think about that. That kind of makes sense because if they look, they would be afraid. They would be in fear. They wouldn't want to continue. They'd be like, "Nah, man, I'm going down." They were like, "I'm done. We can call it quits." But anyway, oh man, that's funny. When I was first reading this, it was a trip. Um, 29. And Yahweh knew their thoughts, and it came to pass when they were building, they cast the arrows toward the heavens. So we got this far. Like we don't read all this in Genesis. Well, it's not in Genesis, all this, but it got this far. It says, they cast the arrows towards heaven, the heavens, and all the arrows fell on them full filled with blood. And when they saw them, they said to each other, surely we have slain all those that are in heaven. For this was from Yahweh in order to cause them to err, and in order to destroy them from off the face of the ground. And they built the tower and the city, and they did this thing daily until many days and years were elapsed. And Yahweh said to the 70 heavenly messengers who stood foremost before him, to those who were near to him, saying, let us descend and confuse their tongues, that one man shall not understand the language of his neighbor. And they did so to them. And from that day following, they forgot each man his neighbor's language. And well, I say language, but it says tongue, it's the same thing. And then it says, and they could not understand to speak in one tongue. And when the builder took from the hands of his neighbor lime, or stone, which he did not order, the builder would cast it away and throw it on his neighbor, and then it says that he would die. And they did so many days, and they killed many of them in this manner. And Yahweh smote. That's funny. I don't remember that before, but I know I read it before. And Yahweh smote the three divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Those who said, "We will ascend," I thought he like caused some supernatural destruction on them, but he had them die like that. Like, okay. But anyway, it says, we will ascend. Well, let me go back and read it from 35. And Yahweh smote the three divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Man, that sounds like the end times. Remember where it talks about people are going to be punished according to their works? Well, judged. That's right, judged, not punished. I'm sorry. Wrong word. It reminded me of that when it says that. Okay, but anyway, it says, and Yahweh smote the three divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Those who said, "We will ascend to heaven and serve our gods," became like apes and elephants. And those who said, "We will smite the heaven with arrows," Yahweh killed them. One man, through the hand of his neighbor, and the third division of those who said, "We will ascend to heaven and fight against him," Yahweh scattered them throughout the whole earth. And those who were left amongst them, when they knew and understood the evil which was coming on them, they forsook the building, and they also became scattered on the face of the whole earth. And they stopped building the city and tower, and the tower. Therefore he called that place Babel, for there Yahweh confounded the language of the whole earth. Behold, it was at the east of the land of Shinar. And as to the tower which the sons of men built, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up one third part of thereof. I'm sorry, like that was funny. Whew. Okay. And then it says, and a fire also descended from heaven and burned another third. Man, this is funny right here. Okay, let me read it and try not to laugh. Hold on, let me go back. And I don't think I'm gonna read it without laughing, but here we go. And as the can't even do it. I'm gonna just do this one and keep going because I don't know if I can do it without laughing. It says, and as to the tower which the sons of men built, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up one third part. I tried. I tried. It didn't work out. And a fire also descended from heaven and burnt another third. And the other third is my eyes is teary right now. And the other third is left to this day. And it is of that part which was a loaf, and its circumference is 3 days' walk. Man. And many of the sons of men died in that tower, a people without number. Well, I hope y'all got a good laugh out of that. All right, here we go. Chapter 10. So it looks like we got some genealogy here. Yeah, this reminds me of Genesis 10, chapter 10. If I'm right, the genealogies. Yeah, that should be the genealogies. I see somebody say amen, brother. Um, somebody says, oh, that is where the tower went. Yeah, yeah. Funny. It's funny. Okay, it says, verse 1, and Peleg, the son of Eber, died in those days, in the 48th year of the life of Abraham, the son of Terah. And all the days of Peleg were 239 years. And when Yahweh had scattered the sons of men on account of their sin at the tower, behold, they spread forth into many divisions. And all the sons of men were dispersed into the four corners of the earth. And all the families became each, according to his language, its land or its city. And the sons of men built many cities according to their families, and all the places where they went, all throughout the earth, where Yahweh had scattered them. Now check that out. That kind of reminds me of how he will scatter people and have people go into slavery. This isn't slavery, but he scattered them though, everybody. But let's keep going. Then it says, and some of them built cities in places from which they were afterward, never seen this word, extirpated, and they called them, I'm sorry, and they called these cities after their own names, or the names of their children, or after their particular occurrences. And the sons of Japheth, the son of Noah, went and built themselves cities in the places where they were scattered. And and they called all their cities after their names. And the sons of Japheth were divided upon the face of the earth into many divisions and languages. And these are the sons of Japheth according to their families: Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, 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 Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. These are the children of Japheth according to their I was going to say genealogies, generations. And the children of Gomer according to their cities were the Phancum, who dwell in the land of Franza, by the river Franza, by the river Sina, and the children of Raphath and the Bartonim, who dwell in the land of Bartonia, by the river Leda, which empties its waters in the great sea Gahan, that is Oceanus. Oceanus. Never seen that word. And the children of let's see how you say this one, two Garma, and 10 families, and these are their names: Buzzah, Buzzah, left out the R, Bazaar. Oh, okay, sounds like Bazaar. Okay, well, new one to me. Then we got Parzunek. I messed that up. Parzunak, Balgar, Eli Kanum, Ragbim, Tarka, really? Zebuk, okay, Angal, and Talmaz. All these spread and rested in the north and built themselves cities, and they called their cities after their own names. Those are they who abide by the rivers Hifla and Atalic. Atalic, really? Okay. Unto this day. But the families of Angoli, Balgar, and Parzunak, they dwelt by the great river Dunni. I mean Dubni, I said Dunni. Dubni. And the names of their cities were also according to their own names. And the children of Javan, I'm sorry, are the Javanim, who dwell in the land of Macedonia. I said it right. And the children of oh man, this word is gonna be crazy to pronounce because that I in the middle throws me off. We're gonna skip that word. Yeah, we're gonna leave that right there. That right there says, "And the children of if I Midari, I guess we're gonna say that. We're gonna say that Midari. How about that? Are the Orilam that dwell in the land of Curson, and the children of Tubal are those that dwell in the land of Tuscana, by the river Pashnaya. No. Pashaya. Pashaya. There we go. I put an N in there. And the children of Meshech, are the Shai Bashnai, and the children of Tiras are Rushash, Kushnai, and Angolis. All these went and built themselves cities. Those are the cities that are, let me go down some, that are situate by the sea Jabus, by the river Kura, which empties itself in the river Tragan. And the children of Elisha are the Almanim, and they also went and built themselves cities. Those are the cities situate between the mountains of Job and Shai Bathmo, and of them were the people of Lombardy, who dwell opposite the mountains of Job and Shai Bathmo. Never seen these words before. Samo. And they conquered the land of Italia and remained there until this day. And the children of Chittim are the Roman, say that wrong, are the Romim, who dwell in the valley of Conopia by the river Ty, what? What? I can't even say it, y'all. It's so crazy. Tibriu? That's how I'm gonna say that. Okay. And the children of Dudonim are those who dwell in the cities of See Gahan. Did I say that right? I might have left out a word. Let me go back. Um, and the children of Dudonim are those who dwell in the cities of the sea, Gaihan. I think I left out some words. In the land of Bordna, these are the families of the children of Japheth according to their cities and languages, when they were scattered after the tower, and they called their cities after their names and occurrences. And these are the names of all their cities according to their families, which they built in those days after the tower. And the children of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan, according to their generation and cities. All these were and built themselves cities, and they found fit places for them. And they called their cities after the names of their fathers, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. And the children of Mizraim are the Ludim, Anamim, Lehabim, Tuchim, Pathrusim, Kas Luchim, and Turim, seven families. All these dwelt by the river Shihor, that is the brook of Egypt, and they built themselves cities and called them after their own names. And the children of Paphros and Kaslach intermarried together, and from them went forth the Philistim. Sounds like Philistines, but hey, whatever. The Azathim and the Gorim. I know I didn't say that right because I couldn't get that A in there. Gor, whatever. I ain't even gonna try to say it again. The Githim and the Ekronim and all five families. These also built themselves cities, and they called their cities after the names of their fathers to this day. And the children of Canaan also built themselves cities, and they called their cities after their names, my bad, 11 cities, and others without number. And four men from the family of Ham went to the land of the plain. These are the names of the four men: Sodom, Gomorrah, Addah, and Zeboim. And these men built themselves four cities in the land of the plain. Man, I think this is when them cities got destroyed when, Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, but I'm just thinking. And let me go back and read from 26. And these men built themselves four cities in the land of the plain. Man, I'm just saying, this sounds familiar. Then it says, and they called the names of their cities after their own names. And let me go back up and see the names. Okay, just had to check. And they and their children and all belonging to them dwelt in those cities. And they were fruitful and multiplied greatly and dwelt peaceably. I thought I skipped a word. And Seir, the son of Hur, the son of Hevi, the son of Canaan, went and found a valley opposite to Mount Paran, and he built a city there, and he and his 7 sons and his household dwelt there. And he called the city which he built Seir, according to his name. Okay. That is the land of Seir to this day. These are the families of the children of Ham, according to their languages and cities, and when they were scattered to their countries after the tower. And some of the children of Shem, son of Noah, father of all the children of Eber, also went and built themselves cities in the places wherein they were scattered, and they called their cities after their names. And the sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Ar, Paxad, Shad. It's a little different in the Bible. Lud and Aram, and they built themselves cities and called the names of all their cities after their names. And Ashur, son of Shem, and his children and household went forth at that time, a very large body of them. And they went to a distant land that they found, and they met with a very extensive valley in the land that they went to. And they built themselves 4 cities, and they called them after their own names and occurrences. And these are the names of the cities which the children of Ashur built: Nineveh, okay, Rezin, Kalach, and Bother, Bother. And the children of Ashur I mean, dwell there until this day. Well, I guess that's the same as dwelt, but whatever. And the children of Aram also went and built themselves a city, and they called the name of the city Uz, after their oldest brother. Okay. And they dwell there in. That is the land of Uz to this day. And in the 2nd year after the tower, a man from the house of Ashur, whose name was Bela, went from the land of Nineveh to sojourn with his household wherever he could find a place. And they came until opposite the cities of the plain against Sodom, and they dwelt there. And the man rose up and built there a small city, and called its name Bela, after his name. That is the land of Zoar to this day. And these are the families of the children of Shem according to their language and cities, after they were scattered on the earth after the tower. And every kingdom, city, and family of the families of the children of Noah built themselves many cities after this. Chapter 11. Okay. Names are fun. Well, most of it. Okay. I'm just reading a little bit of what y'all said. Let me read this real quick. Mason says, I have been planning on reading Jasher, and God led me to this YouTube channel. Okay, cool. Talking with Sandra says, Amen, brother. And Mason says, oh, that is where the tower went. Oh, okay, yeah, I read that. I'm reading these messages all out of order. But okay. All right. So chapter 11. Let me get a little bit of this water. Okay. And Nimrod, son of Cush, was still in the land of Shinar, and he reigned over it and dwelt there. And he built cities in the land of Shinar. And these are the names of the 4 cities which he built. And he called their names after the occurrences that happened to them in the building of the tower. And he called the first Babel, saying, because Yahweh there confounded the language of the whole earth. And the name of the second he called Erech, because from there Yahweh dispersed them. And the third he called Eshed, if I said it right, saying, there was a great battle at that place. And the fourth he called Kalna, because his princes and mighty men were consumed there. And they vexed Yahweh. They rebelled and transgressed against him. And when Nimrod had built these cities in the land of Shinar, he placed in them the remainder of his people, his princes, and his mighty men that were left in his kingdom. And Nimrod dwelt in Babel, and he there renewed his reign over the rest of his subjects, and he reigned securely. And the subjects and princes of Nimrod called his name Amraphel, saying that at the tower, um, his princes and men fell through his means. Making sure I didn't skip a line. Okay. Verse 7. And notwithstanding this, Nimrod did not return to Yahweh, And he continued in wickedness and teaching wickedness to the sons of men. And Mardon, his son, was worse than his father, and continued to add to the abominations of his father. And he caused the sons of men to sin. Therefore, it is said, excuse me, let me just make sure, because yeah, yeah. Some of this is already had, it's like it's already been stated before, just repeated it. So, what was that? Verse 9? No, 8. And he caused the sons of men to sin. Therefore, it is said, from the wicked goes forth wickedness. At that time, there was war between the families of the children of Ham, as they were dwelling in the cities which they had built. And Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, went away from the families of the children of Ham, and he fought with them, and he subdued them. And he went to the 5 cities of the plain, and he fought against them, and he subdued them. And they were under his control. And they served him 12 years, and they gave him a yearly tax. So we got taxes already coming into play. At that time died Nahor, son of Serug, in the 49th year of the life of Abram, the son of Terah. And in the 50th year of the life of Abram, son of Terah, Abram came forth from the house of Noah and went to his father's house. And Abram knew Yahweh, and he went in his ways and instructions, and Yahweh his Almighty was with him. And Terah, his father, was in those days still captain of the host of the king, of King Nimrod, and he still followed strange gods. Excuse me. And Abram came to his father's house and saw 12 gods standing in their temples. And the anger of Abram was kindled when he saw these images in his father's house. And images. Okay, okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And Abram said, as Yahweh lives, these images shall not remain in my father's house. So shall Yahweh who created me do to me, if in 3 days' time I do not break them all. And Abram went from them, and his anger burned within him. And Abram hastened and went from the chamber to his father's outer court. And he found his father sitting in the court, and all his servants with him. And Abram came and sat before him. And Abram asked his father, saying, tell me, where is Yahweh? Okay, now check this out. I had to make sure I understood it right because I want y'all to hear what's going on too. So, and Abram, I'm going to read 19 again. And Abram asked his father, saying, Father, let me make sure I ain't skip a line. Now, let me make sure I ain't skip no line. Okay, no, I ain't skip nothing. So he says, Father, tell me, where is Yahweh, who created heaven and earth, and all the sons of men on earth, and who created you and me? And Terah answered his son Abram and said, behold, those who created us are all with us in the house. And Abram said to his father, my Adon. I wonder if that's for the Hebrew word Adon, which can be Lord in English, not like Lord, all caps Lord, which can mean Yahweh in Hebrew, but like the lowercase o, um, the lowercase Lord, or I'm curious, maybe even the capital L, lowercase Ord. Anyway, 20, it says that Abram said to his father, my Adon, show them to me, I ask you. And Terah brought Abram into the chamber of the inner court. And Abram saw, and behold, the whole room was full of gods of wood and stone, 12 great images, and others less than they without number. And Terah said, y'all hear that? Without number. And Terah said to his son, behold, these are they which made all you see on earth, and which created me and you, and all mankind. And Terah bowed down to his gods. And he then went away from them, and Abram his son went away with him. And when Abram had gone from them, he went to his mother and sat before her. And he said to his mother, Behold, my father has shown me those who made heaven and earth, and all the sons of men. Now therefore hasten and fetch a kid from the flock, and make of it savory meat, that I may bring it to my father's gods as an offering for them to eat. Perhaps I may thereby become acceptable to them. And his mother did so, and she fetched the kid and made savory meat thereof, and brought it to Abram. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods. And he drew nigh to them that they might eat. And Terah his father did not know of it. And Abram saw on that day, when he was sitting amongst them, that they had no voice, no hearing, no motion, and not one of them could stretch forth his hand to eat. And Abram mocked them and said, Surely the savory meat that I prepared has not pleased them. I'm trying not to laugh. Let me read this part again. I don't think I'm doing no better, but here we go. 27. I'm waiting. Let me straighten up. Let me try to straighten up. And Abram mocked them and said, Surely the savory meat that I have prepared has not pleased them, or perhaps it was too little for them. For that reason, they would not eat. They will not eat. Therefore, tomorrow I will prepare fresh savory meat, better and more plentiful than this, in order that I may see the result. And it was on the next day that Abram directed his mother concerning the savory meat. And his mother rose and fetched 3 fine kids from the flock, and she made of them some excellent savory meat, such as her son was fond of. And she gave it to her son Abram, and Terah's father did not know of it. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods into the chamber. And he came nigh to them that they might eat. And he placed it before them. And Abram sat before them all day, thinking perhaps they might eat. And Abram viewed them, and behold, they had neither voice nor hearing, nor did one of them stretch forth his hand to the meat to eat. And in the evening of that day, in the house, Abram was clothed with the Spirit of Yahweh. And he called out and said, Woe to my father and this wicked generation, whose hearts are all inclined to vanity, who serve these idols of wood and stone, which can neither eat, smell, nor speak, who have mouths without speech, eyes without sight, ears without hearing, hands without feeling, and legs which cannot move. Like them are those that made them and that trust in them. And when Abram saw all these things, his anger was kindled against his father, and he hastened and took a hatchet in his hand and came to the chamber of the gods, and he broke all his. I hope y'all can hear me because there's ambulance outside, but let's see. Let me go back to the hatchet. Hatchet in his hand, and came to the chamber of the gods, and he broke all his father's gods. And let me straighten up a little bit. And when he had done breaking the images, he placed the hatchet in the hand of one of the great God, which was there before him. I mean before them, and he went out. Let me read that without skipping. Well, messing up. So 34. And when he had done breaking the images, he placed the hatchet in the hand of the great God, which was there before them, and he went out. And Terah his father came home, for he had heard at the door the sound of the striking of the hatchet. So Terah came into the house to know what was this thing about. I mean, what was this about? If I said it right. Yeah, I think I said it right. And Terah, having heard the noise of the hatchet in the room of images, ran to the room to the images, and he met Abram going out. And Terah entered the room and found all the idols fallen down and broken, and the hatchet in the hand of the largest, which was not broken, and the savory meat, which Abraham his son had made was still before them. And when Terah saw this, his anger was greatly kindled, and he hastened and went from the room to Abraham. And he found Abraham, his son, still sitting in the house. And he said to him, "What is this work you have done to my gods?" And Abraham answered Terah, his father, and said, "Not so, my Adonai." Yeah, that's it. My Adonai. Yeah, that. So that would be the equivalent to my Lord in Genesis or any Bible you see where it says my Lord, but not, like the Lord, all caps, Lord, when it's referring to the Most High. But yeah, I thought so. So when it says Adon and Adonai, okay, got it. All right. So it says, "Not so, my Adonai, for I brought savory meat before them. And when I came near to them with the meat that they might eat, they all at once stretched forth their hands to eat, before the great one had put forth his hand to eat. And when the large one saw their works that they did before him, and his anger was violently kindled against them, and he went and took the hatchet that was in the house, and came to them and broke them all. And behold, the hatchet is yet in his hand, as you saw, but as you see. And Terah's anger was kindled against his son Abraham when he spoke this. And Terah said to Abraham his son in anger, "What is this tale that you have told? You speak lies to me. Is there in these gods?" I'm sorry, I can't read it without laughing. "Is there in these gods spirit?" Whew, okay. "Is there in these gods spirit, soul, or power to do all you have told me?" I can't, I can't read it. I can't read it. I gotta laugh. I gotta wait. Whew. Oh man. So what y'all think about this? What y'all think about this right here? Because I can't read right now. I gotta laugh. I gotta get it out. My eyes are teary right now. I see you, Jen. Whew. Okay, I'm trying to straighten up. I think this was the funniest chapter when me and his sister named Vanessa, we was reading this for the first time ever. Like this was years ago. We was reading this together. She said that this. I think this was her favorite. Well, this was the funniest chapter for her. I think. Like this part right here. Okay, I gotta drink some water. Okay, I gotta find out where I left off. 42. "Is there in these gods spirit, soul, or power to do all you have told me? Are they not wood and stone? And have I not myself made them? And and can you speak such lies, saying that the large God that was with them smote them? It is you that did place the hatchet in his hands, and then say he smote them all." And Abraham answered his father and said to him, "And how can you then serve these idols in whom there is no power to do anything? Can these idols in which you trust deliver you? Can they hear your prayers when you call on them? Can they deliver you from the hands of your enemies? Or will they fight your battles for you against your enemies, that you should serve wood and stone, which can neither speak nor hear? And now, surely it is not good for you, nor for the sons of men that are connected with them, to do these things. You are so silly, so foolish, or so short of understanding that you will serve wood and stone and do after this manner. And and forget Yahweh the Almighty who made heaven and earth, and who created you in the earth, and thereby bring a great evil on your souls in this matter, by serving stone and wood. Did not our fathers in the days of old sin in this way? Well, matter can mean way. Well, I'm thinking that's manner, my bad. Sin in this matter, my bad. I mixed up the word. Well, I thought it was another word. And then it says, and Yahweh the Almighty of the universe brought the waters of the flood on them and destroyed the whole earth. And how can you continue to do this and serve gods of wood and stone who cannot hear or speak or deliver you from oppression, thereby bringing down the anger of Yahweh of the universe on you? Now, therefore, Father, refrain from this and bring not evil on your soul and the souls of your household. And Abraham hastened and sprang from before his father, and took the hatchet from his father's largest idol, which, with which Abraham broke it and ran away. Hold on. I'm going to read this one more time in case y'all didn't catch it. It says, and Abraham hastened and sprang from before his father, and took the hatchet from his father's largest idol, which with which Abraham broke it and ran away. So I know y'all probably got it, but I'm just explain. So he hurried up, he hurried up and took the hatchet and broke the final idol and ran away because he knew his dad was gonna be mad. But anyway, and then it says, and Terah, seeing all that Abraham had done, hastened to go from his house, and he went to the king. And he came before Nimrod and stood before him. And he bowed down to the king, and the king said, what do you want? And he said, I beseech you, my lord, to hear me. Now 50 years back, a child was born to me, and thus he, my bad, excuse me, and thus has he done to my gods, and thus has he spoken. And now, therefore, my Lord and King, send for him, that he may come before you, and judge him according to the law, that we may be delivered from this evil. And the king sent 3 men of his servants, and they went and brought Abraham before the king. And Nimrod and all his princes and servants were that day sitting before him, and Terah sat also before them. And the king said to Abraham, what is this that you have done to your father and to his idols? I mean, gods. But that's basically what they are. But it says gods. And Abraham answered the king in the words that he spoke to his father. And he said, the large God that was with them in the house did to them what you have heard. And the king said to Abraham, had they power to speak and eat and do as you have said? And Abraham answered the king, saying, and if there be no power in them, why do you serve them and cause the sons of men to err through your follies? Do you imagine that they can deliver you or do anything small or great that you should serve them? And why will you not sense the Almighty of the whole universe, who created you and in whose power it is still, it is to kill and keep alive? O foolish, simple, and ignorant king, woe to you forever. I thought you would teach your servants the upright way, but you have done this. But you have not done this, but has filled the whole earth with your sins and the sins of your people who have followed your ways. Do you not know, or have you not heard, that this evil which you do, our ancestors sinned therein in days of old, and the eternal Yahweh brought the waters of the flood on them and destroyed them all, and also destroyed the whole earth on their account? And will you and your people rise up now and do like to this work, in order to bring down the anger of Yahweh, I mean, the anger of Yahweh, the Almighty of the universe, and to bring evil on you and the whole earth? Now, therefore, put away this evil deed which you do, and serve Yahweh, the Almighty of the universe, as your soul is in his hands, and then it will be well with you. And if your wicked heart will not listen to my words to cause you to forsake your evil ways and to serve the eternal Yahweh, then will you die in shame in the latter days, you, your people, and all who are connected with you, hearing your words or walking in your evil ways. And when Abram had stopped speaking before the king, oh, my battery going low on my laptop. It's gonna die. I'm gonna finish this chapter, then I'm gonna charge it. Okay. What was I at? And when Abram had stopped speaking before the king and princes, Abram lifted up his eyes to the heavens and said, Yahweh sees all the wicked, and he will judge them. Okay, let me put this charger in real quick. It's somewhere down there. I wouldn't mind if I had an apple pie or a pie. I prefer apple though. Have y'all ever had a blackberry pie? Getting hungry right now. I'm telling you, I'm getting hungry. I need a pie. I'm thinking. Okay. Chapter 12. The book of Jasher. These chapters are long. I didn't expect these chapters to be that long. Okay. Good night, everyone. May God bless you, says Mason. Good night. May He bless you too. All right. At home of Jen says, pie does sound good. Yeah, I don't got none though. That'd be a good little something I can just eat and keep reading. Nah. Because when I eat, I be eating. That's okay. Oh, wait, I got some candy though. Nah, I can't eat candy. Nah, I can't do that. Because I got to read. Can't do it, no. Okay, well, here we go. See, Jen, that's why you can join me and read. Bam! And that way I can be over here eating on the low. I mean, they gonna still see me on the camera, but you know, yeah. Mm-hmm. We can plan it next week. We can plan it. Yeah, you can join me live, and you can read while I eat. Bam! Yeah. Caddy says making pie, Sunday. I guess you meant Sunday. It says Suedy. I guess you meant Sunday, maybe. I don't know. Okay. All right, here we go. What we at? Chapter 12, verse 1. Okay, it says, and when the king heard the words of Abram, he ordered him to be put in prison, and Abram was 10 days in prison. That reminds me of the New Testament. But anyway, because it talks about people being in prison for 10 days, but let's keep going. It says, and at the end of those days, the king ordered that all the kings, princes, and governors of different provinces and the sages should come before him, and they sat before him, and Abram was still in the house of confinement. And the king said to the princes and sages, have you heard what Abram, the son of Terah, has done to his father? This has he done to him, and I ordered him to be brought before me, and thus he has, I said it backwards, and thus has he spoken. His heart did not misgive him, neither did he stir in my presence. And behold, now he is confined in the prison, and therefore decide what judgment is due to this man who reviled the king, who spoke and did all the things that you heard. And they all answered the king, saying, the man who reviles the king should be hanged on a tree. Wow. Let me highlight that. You know what? Forget it. I ain't gonna highlight it. Hanged on a tree. But having done all the things that he said, just make sure I read it right, and having despised our gods, he must therefore be burnt to death. For this is the law in this matter. If it pleases the king to do this, let him order his servants to kindle a fire both night and day in your brick furnace, and then we will cast this man into it. And the king did so, and he commanded his servants that they should prepare a fire for 3 days and 3 nights, in the king's furnace, that is, in Casdim. And the king ordered them to take Abram from prison and bring him out to be burned. And all the king's servants, princes, lords, governors, and judges, and all the inhabitants of the land, about 900,000, stood opposite the furnace to see Abram. And all the women and little ones crowded on the roofs and towers to see what was doing with Abram. The way they worded this, I'm just saying. And they all stood together at a distance, and there was not a man left that did not come on that day to behold the scene. And when Abram was come, the conjurers of the king and the sages saw Abram, and they cried out to the king, saying, O sovereign Lord, surely this is the man whom we know to have been the child at whose birth the great star swallowed the four stars, which we declared to the king now 50 years since. Now behold, I said that backwards. There was no now. And behold now, his father has also transgressed your commands and mocked you by bringing you another child, which you did kill. And when the king heard their words, he was exceedingly wroth, and he ordered terror to be brought before him. And the king said, Have you heard what the conjurers have spoken? Now tell me truly, how did you? And if you shall speak truth, you shall be acquitted. And seeing that the king's anger was so much kindled, Terah said to the king, My lord and king, you have heard the truth, and what the sages have spoken is right. And the king said, How could you do this thing, to transgress my orders, and to give me a child that you did not beget, and to take the value for him? And then it said, And Terah answered the king, Because my tender feelings were excited for my son at that time. And I took a son of my handmaid and brought him to the king. And the king said, Who advised you to do this? Tell me. Do not hide aught from me, and then you shall not die. And Terah was greatly terrified in the king's presence. And he said to the king, It was Haran, my oldest son, who advised me to this. And Haran was in those days that Abram was born 2 and 30 years old. But Haran did not advise his father to anything. For Terah said this to the king in order to deliver his soul from the king. Wow, he lied. Oh, shame. I don't want a dad like that. But anyway, um, and the king, let me just read that and all the way through and keep going. 17, but Haran did not advise. I'm gonna read 16 too and just read all of it without stopping. And Terah was greatly terrified in the king's presence, and he said to the king, It was Haran, my oldest son, who advised me to do this. And Haran was in those days that Abram was born 2 and 30 years old. But Haran did not advise his father to do anything, or to anything. For Terah said this to the king in order to deliver his soul from the king, for he feared greatly. And the king said to Terah, Terah your son, who advised you to do this, shall die through through fire with Abram. For the sentence of death is on him for having rebelled against the king's desire in doing this thing. And Haran at that time felt inclined to follow the ways of Abram, but he kept within himself. And Haran said in his heart, Behold, now the king has seized Abram on account of on account of these things which Abram did. And it shall come to pass that if Abram prevail over the king, I will follow him. But if the king prevail, I will go after the king. Boy, he crazy. But anyway, then it says, verse 20. I'm good, by the way, Caddy. I can't read everything right now. I just happen to see that. Okay. Let me at verse 21. No, 20. Okay. And when Terah had spoken this to the king concerning Haran, his son, the king ordered Haran to be seized with Abram, and they brought them both, Abram and Haran his brother, to cast them into the fire. And all the inhabitants of the land, and the king's servants and princes, and all the women and little ones were there, standing that day over them. And the king's servants took Abram and his brother, and they stripped them of all their clothes, excepting their lower garments, which were on them. And they bound their hands and feet with linen cords. And the servants of the king lifted them up, and they cast them both into the furnace. And Yahweh loved Abram, and he had compassion over him. And Yahweh came down and delivered Abram from the fire, and he was not burned. But all the cords with which they bound him were burned, while Abram remained and walked about in the fire. But and Haran died when they had cast him into the fire. Ooh, that's an interesting story right there. Haran was lukewarm. He was talking about if Abram wins over the king or prevails over the king, then I'll follow Abram's ways. But if the king, I'll follow the king. He just wasn't decided to just follow Abraham's ways or Abram's ways. So yeah, sucks for him. Okay, so where we at? Verse 27, maybe 26. I ain't finished. Okay, I don't think. It says that Haran died when they had cast him into the fire, and he was burned to ashes, for his heart was not perfect with Yah. Man, it's right there. And those men who cast him into the fire, the flame of the fire spread over them, and they were burned, and 12 men of them died. Reminds me of the book of Daniel. All right, chapter 3, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken. And then it goes on to say, and Abram walked in the midst of the fire 3 days and 3 nights. And all the servants of the king saw him walking in the fire. And they came and told the king, saying, Behold, we have seen Abram walking about in the midst of the fire. And even the lower garments which are on him are not burned, but the cord with which he was bound is burnt. And when the king heard their words, his heart fainted, and he would not believe them. So he sent other faithful princes to see this matter. And they went and saw it and told it the king, or to the king. And the king rose to go and see it. And he saw Abram walking to and fro in the midst of the fire. And he saw Haran's body burnt. And the king wondered greatly. And the king ordered Abram to be taken out of the fire, and his servants approached to take him out, and they could not, for the fire was round about, and the flame and the flame ascending toward them from the furnace. And the king's servants fled from it. And the king rebuked them, saying, Make haste and bring Abram out of the fire, that you shall not die. And the servants of the king again approached to bring Abram out, and the flames came on them and burned their faces, so that 8 of them died. And when the king saw that his servants could not approach the fire, lest they should be burned, the king called to Abram, O servant of Yahweh, who is in heaven, go forth from amidst the fire, and come here before me. And Abram listened to the voice of the king. And he went forth from the fire and came and stood before the king. And when Abram came out, the king and all his servants saw Abram coming before the king with his lower garments on him, for they were not burnt, but the cord with which he was bound was burnt. And the king said to Abram, How is it that you was not burnt in the fire? And Abram said to the king, Yahweh of heaven and earth, in whom I trust, and good verse, in whom I trust, and who has in all his power He delivered me from the fire into which you did cast me. And Haran, the brother of Abram, was burned to ashes, and they sought for his body, and they found it consumed. And Haran was 82 years old when he died. Wait a minute now. Hold on. I think these numbers are off. I'm going to have to go up and check that. It says that Haran was 82 years old when he died in the fire of Casdim. Didn't it say he was 32 above? Hold on now. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. Wait a minute. And Haran died. Okay, in verse 26, he dies. Hold on. Maybe I'm tripping. When is dad loud? Okay, Terah spoken this to the king. Where did it say he was? I gotta find it. I gotta find it. I think it's right around here. I done passed it somewhere, but I know it's around these verses where it talks about Haran being 32. Do y'all see it? Maybe I gotta read it. Haran notifies his father or anything. Thought it was right around here. And they brought them both. I might be tripping, y'all, but I thought it said 32. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember it saying that he was 32? I'm skimming through it to try to find it. And Sarah, look, I just found it. Okay, look, check this out. Okay, verse 16. It says, and Terah was greatly terrified in the king's presence, and he said to the king, it was Haran, my oldest son, who advised me to this. And Haran was in those days that Abram was born 2 and 30 years old. 2 and 30 years old. That's 32. Okay. Now I realized this verse is the error. What has the error because the last time it told us his age, it said 82. And that would make sense because it said Abraham's was 50 at this point. And it just said that Haran was his oldest brother. How can you be the older brother if you're 32 and Abraham's 50? So the last verse that said he was 82 must be the right one. Or we can go with that over. I'm going to go with that over the other one. Because now look at this. In 37, it says, and Haran was 82 years old when he died in the fire. Did y'all catch that? How many caught that? I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat on y'all. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know if y'all listening. Did y'all catch that? Anybody? Jen? Anybody? Whoever sees this, let me know if y'all caught it. It's the first time I caught it. I probably knew about this in the past, but just forgot. But I definitely caught it tonight. I already knew the numbers were off, but yeah, that was one I caught. Okay, so that was 37. So it says, oh, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna try to probably get to chapter 14 before I eat. So it says, you gonna come read while I eat, Jen? You gonna get on here and read, or Caddy? One of y'all gonna get on here and read? I know Caddy ain't getting on here and read. You, Caddy was on the video in the past with me, and I kept saying, "You gonna read?" She's like, "Nope." Jen, what you smiling for? Oh, you talking to Caddy? I do very much appreciate your. Oh, okay. I thought you was messing with me, Jen. Okay, okay. So I'm gonna keep reading. Y'all ain't listening to what I'm saying. Are y'all listening? I just asked y'all a question and y'all, she laughing. Okay, I ain't messing with y'all. Okay, I'm gonna finish reading because y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't paying. You heard me talk about food. That's all you heard. Nah, I'm just messing. Okay. So we got 37. It says, and Haran was 82 years old when he died in the fire of Casdim, and the king, princes, and inhabitants. Oh, excuse me. Okay, Caddy. Jen says, I only have the encyclopedia of lost and rejected scriptures. I mean, but you can still get on here and read. You can just, you can read from the screen right here. Bam. You can get on here just like me. And then they don't even got to see you. You only got to get on camera. And then you just read from the screen. Bam. As you read, I'll scroll down and, you just keep reading. Bam. You know, we can always do this in the future, okay? But all right, here we go. Verse 37. It says, and Haran was 82 years old. Oh, okay. When he died in the fire of Casdim, and the king, princes, and inhabitants of the land, seeing that Abram was delivered from the fire, they came and bowed down to Abram. And Abram said to them, do not bow down to me, but bow down to Yahweh of the world, who made you, and serve him, and go in his ways. For it is he who delivered me from out of this fire, and it is he who created the souls and spirits of all men, and formed man in his mother's womb, and brought him forth into the world. And it is he who will deliver those who trust in him from all pain. And this thing seemed very wonderful in the eyes of the king and princes, that Abram was saved from the fire, and that Haran was burnt. And the king gave Abram many presents, and he gave him his two head servants. What? Okay. I was reading. I was thinking about that different. And he gave him his two head servants from the king's house. The name of one was Onai, and the name of the other was Eliezer. Oh, that's where Eliezer came from. I suspect, because we hear about Eliezer in the Bible, but okay. And all the kings, princes, and servants gave Abram many gifts of silver and gold and pearl. And the king and his princes sent him away, and he went in peace. And Abram went forth from the king in peace, and many of the king's servants followed him, and about 300 men joined him. And Abram returned on that day and went to his father's house. He went back to his father's house. Oh, man. He and the men that followed him. And Abram served Yahweh, his Almighty, all the days of his life. And he walked in his ways and followed his law. And from that day forward, Abram inclined the hearts of the sons of men to serve Yahweh. And at that time, Nahor and Abram took to themselves wives, the daughters of their brother Haran. The wife of Nahor was Milcah, and the name of Abram's wife was Sarai. And Sarai, wife of Abram, was barren. She had no offspring in those days. And at the expiration, did I say that right? Yeah. And at the expiration of 2 years from Abram's going out from the fire, that is, in the 52nd year of his life, behold, King Nimrod sat in Babel, upon the throne. And the king fell asleep and dreamed that he was standing with his troops and hosts in the valley opposite the king's furnace. And he lifted up his eyes and saw a man in the likeness of a brand coming forth from the furnace. And he, sorry, and that he came and stood before the king with his drawn sword, and then sprang to the king with his sword. When the king fled from the man, for he was afraid, and while he was running, the man threw an egg on the king's head, and the egg became a great river. And the king dreamed that all his troops sank in that river and died. And the king took flight with 3 men who were before him, and he escaped. And the king looked at these men, and they were clothed in princely dresses, as the garments of kings, and had the appearance and majesty of kings. And while they were running, the river again turned to an egg before the king. And there came forth from the egg a young bird, which came before the king, and flew at his head and plucked out the king's eye. And the king was grieved at the sight, and he awoke out of his sleep, and his spirit was agitated, and he felt a great terror. And in the morning the king rose from his couch in fear, and he ordered all the wise men and magicians to come before him. When the king related his dream to them, and a wise servant of the king, whose name was Anaku, Anakai, my bad, answered the king, saying, "This is nothing else but the evil of Abram and his seed, which will spring up against my lord and king in the last days. And behold, the day will come when Abram and his seed and the children of his household will war with my king, and they will smite all the king's host and his troops. And as to what you have said concerning the 3 men, well, 3 men, which you did see, like to yourself, and which did escape, this means that only you will escape with 3 kings from the kings of the earth, who will be with you in battle. And that which you saw of the river, which turned to an egg as at first, and the young bird plucking out your eye, this means nothing else but the seed of Abraham, which will slay the king in the last days, latter days. And then it says, "This is my king's dream, and this is its interpretation. And the dream is true, and the interpretation which your servant has given you is right. Now, therefore, my king, surely you know that it is now 52 years since your sages saw this at the birth of Abraham, well, Abraham. And if my king will suffer Abraham to live in the earth, it will be to the injury of my lord and king. For all the days that Abraham lives, neither you nor your kingdom will be established. For this was known formerly at his birth. And why will not my king kill him, that his evil may be kept from you in latter days?" Now Nimrod listened to the voice of Anukai, and he sent some of his servants in secret to go and seize Abram and bring him before the king to suffer death. And Eliezer, Abram's servant, whom the king had given him, was at that time in the presence of the king. And he had heard Anukai had advised the king, and what the king had said to cause Abram's death. And Eliezer said to Abram, "Hasten, rise up, and save your soul, that you may not die through the hands of the king. For thus did he see in a dream concerning you, and thus did Anukai interpret it, and thus also did Anukai advise the king concerning you." And Abram listened to the voice of Eliezer, and Abram hastened and ran for safety to the house of Noah, his son, and his son Shem. And he concealed himself there and found a place of safety. And the king's servants came to Abram's house to seek him, but they could not find him. And they searched throughout the country, and he was not to be found. And they went and searched in every direction, and he was not to be met with. And When the king's servants could not find Abram, they returned to the king, but the king's anger was against Abram. Am I reading this right? Let me see. And he was not to be met with. And when the king's servants could not find Abram, they returned to the king, but the king's anger against Abram was stilled. Okay, yeah, I read that wrong. As they did not find him, and the king drove from his mind this matter concerning Abram. And Abram was concealed in Noah's house for 1 month, until the king had forgotten his matter. But Abram was still afraid of the king, and terror came to see Abram his son secretly in the house of Noah. And terror was very great in the eyes of the king. And Abram said to his father, do you not know that the king thinks to kill you? I mean, to kill me, and to annihilate my name from the earth by the advice of his wicked counselors? Now, whom have you here, and what have you in this land? Arise, let us go together to the land of Canaan, that we may be delivered from his hand, lest you perish also through him in the latter days. Do you sorry, do you not know, or have you not heard, that it is not through love that Nimrod gives you all his honor, all this honor, but it is only for his benefit that he bestows all this good on you. Sounds like Proverbs, just stuff I've read. Anyway, and if he do to you greater good than this, surely these are only vanities of the world. For wealth and riches cannot avail in the day of wrath and anger. Now therefore listen to my voice, and let us arise and go to the land of Canaan. It sounds like Terah might be on the right track now, because before he was off, idol worshiper, and all that. But it sounds like Terah's in the right frame of mind. We'll see. We'll see. Um, it says, now therefore hearken to my voice, and let us arise and go to the land of Canaan, out of the reach of injury from Nimrod, and serve you Yahweh. Look at this. And serve you Yahweh who created you in the earth, and it will be well with you. Now he ain't saying that we serve, but at least he's okay with Abraham serving him. So, and then it says, then cast away all the vain things which you pursue. And Abraham stopped to speak. Wait. I thought that was Terah speaking. Who was speaking? Verse 64 says, and Abraham said to his father, do you not know? Oh, that was Abraham. Well, that makes sense. Okay, so his dad ain't got all the sense that I thought he had. Never mind. Take my words back. I forgot that was Abraham speaking. Y'all probably laughing over there. I see y'all laughing in the. What's going on here? Oh, okay. Y'all having a good time, ain't you? I'm just messing. Okay, so where I'm at. I read that. Mm-hmm. So hold on. Now I'm gonna read 68 because now I know who's talking. Let's see what it says. It says, now therefore. Oh, okay. I thought y'all said something in the comments. My bad. It says, now therefore, listen to my voice, and let us arise and go to the land of Canaan, out of the reach of injury from Nimrod, and serve you Yahweh. Also, Abraham is telling him to serve. Okay, well, I hope that does happen. And serve you Yahweh, who created you in the earth, and it will be well with you. And cast away all the vain things which you pursue. That makes much more sense. And Abraham stopped to speak. And oops, when Noah and his son Shem answered Terah, saying, true is the word which Abraham hath said to you. And Terah listened to the voice of his son Abraham. And Terah did all that Abraham said, for this was from Yahweh, that the king should not cause Abraham's death. Hopefully Terah get it together. Hopefully. So then he goes on to say, chapter 13, verse 1. And Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot, and there's no and, the son of Haran, and Sarai, his daughter in law, the wife of his son Abram, and all the souls of his household, and went with them from cast them to go to the land of Canaan. And when they came as far as the land of Haran, they remained there, for it was exceedingly good land for pasture, and of sufficient extent for those who accompanied them. And all the people, and the people of the land of Haran saw that Abram was good and upright with Yahweh and men, and that Yahweh his Almighty was with him. And some of the people of the land of Haran came and joined Abram, and he taught them the instruction of Yahweh and his ways. And these men remained with Abram in his house, and they adhered to him. And Abram remained in the land 3 years. And at the expiration of 3 years, Yahweh appeared to Abram and said to him, I am Yahweh, who brought you forth from cast them, and delivered you from the hands of all your enemies. And now, therefore, if you will listen to my voice and keep my commandments, my statutes, and my laws, then I will cause your enemies to fall before you, and I will multiply your seed like the stars of heaven. I think this is Genesis 14. And then it goes on to say, and I will send my blessing on all the works of your hands, and you shall lack nothing. Arise now, take your wife, and all belonging to you, and go to the land of Canaan and remain there. And I will be there to you for a father, and I will bless you. And Abram rose and took his house and all belonging to him, and he went to the land of Canaan as Yahweh had told him. And Abram was 55 years old when he went from Haran. And Abram came to the land of Canaan and dwelt in the midst of the city. And he there pitched his tent amongst the children of Canaan, inhabitants of the land. And Yahweh appeared to Abram when he came to the land of Canaan. And he said to him, This is the land which I gave to you. Gave? I'm wondering if that's supposed to be give, but either way, which I gave to you and to your seed after you forever. I think that's supposed to be give, but whatever. Then it says, I will make your seed like to the stars of heaven, and I will give to your seed for an inheritance all the lands which you see. And Abram built an altar in the place where Yahweh had spoken to him, and Abram there called on the name of Yahweh. At that time, at the end of 3 years, Abram's dwelling in the land of Canaan, in that year Noah died, which was the 58th year of the life of Abram. And all the days that Noah lived were 950 years, and he died. And Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, he, his wife. My coat just fell to the ground. Okay, that was kind of weird. What was I at? Okay, 10. And Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, he, his wife, and all belonging to him, and all those that accompanied him together with those that joined him from the people of the land. But Nahor, Abram's brother, and Terah, his father, and Lot, the son of Haran, and all belonging to him, dwelt in Haran. In the 5th year of Abram's dwelling in the land of Canaan, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the cities of the plain revolted from the power of Chedor-laomer, king of Elam. For all the kings of the cities of the plain had served Chedor-laomer for 12 years, and given him a yearly tax. But in those days, in the 13th year, they rebelled against him. And in the 10th year of Abram's dwelling in the land of Canaan, there was war between Nimrod, king of Shinar, and Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Nimrod came to fight with I keep that name wrong. Chedorlaomer, and to subdue him. For Chedorlaomer was at that time one of the princes of the host of Nimrod. And when all the people at the tower were dispersed, and those that remained were also scattered on the face of the earth, Chedorlaomer went to the land of Elam and reigned over it and rebelled against his Lord. And in those days, when Nimrod saw that the cities of the plain had rebelled, he came with pride and anger. Pride come before the fall. I'm just saying. Okay. He came with pride and anger to war with Chedorlaomer. And Nimrod assembled all his princes and subjects, about 700,000 men, and went against Chedorlaomer. And I'm trying to say his name. I'm gonna just shorten that name. We just gonna say Chedor, because that's I'm saying his name too many times. Okay, and I can see it a few more times down. So when y'all see Chedor, bam, that's what I'm talking about right there. Okay, so it says, and Chedor went out. I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. I used to say the king of Babylon. They pronounce it Nebuchadnezzar, but I used to say, because I didn't know how to pronounce it at the time. So I would just say the first six letters of it. I would say Nebuch, because it was spelled. The first six letters was Nebuch. So I would say Nebuch for short, and just keep going like Nebuch. That's your name. That's what I'm saying. And it reminds me of this because I'm shortening this king. I know how to say his name, but it's a long name. So I just want to tell that little secret right there. But I know how to say the name now for the king of Babylon, but we're here to talk about that. I'm just saying, just sharing a little story. So anyway, here we go. So I'm gonna go back up a little bit. It says, and Chedor went out to meet with him with 5,000 men, and they prepared for battle in the valley of Babel, which is between Elam and Shinar. Shinar. Verse 15. Real quick, Caddy says, I thought you were in the chat during the stream. I mean, I can see the chat, but I can't like read everything in the chat and read everything. I either gotta read one or the other. So if I read the chat, I gotta pause and read the chat, and then I can go back to this. But the way it works is, since I'm on StreamYard, when I'm sharing the screen, I have to look at the screen. That's how it works. Um, and I can't see the comments at the same time. But if I go to my YouTube channel and um, look at what y'all saying on the YouTube comments, then I can see what y'all say. But I have to do it from two different devices. So I'm on my computer, well, I'm on two different laptops. I'm on my Chromebook and my actual laptop, because the Chromebook is not really a laptop. But whatever. That's how I'm doing that. Okay. So where we at? 15. It says, and all those kings fought there, and Nimrod and his people were smitten before the people of Chedor, and there fell from Nimrod's men about 600,000. It's a shame. And Mardon, the king's son, fell amongst them. And Nimrod fled and returned in shame and disgrace to his land. And he was under subjection to Chedor for a long time. And Chedor returned to his land and sent princes of his host to the kings that dwelt around him, to Iroach, king of Elisar, and to Tidal, king of Goyim, and made a covenant with them, and they were all obedient to his commands. And it was in the 15th year of Abram's dwelling in the land of Canaan, which is the 70th year of the life of Abram. I don't know if those numbers are right there, but I can't keep up right now. But anyway, and Yahweh appeared to Abram in that year, and he said to him, I am Yahweh, who brought you out from Kasdim to give to you, to give you this land for an inheritance. Now, therefore, walk before me and be perfect. Okay, that's Genesis, what is that, 17? That's Genesis 17:1 right there. Okay, back to 18. It says, interesting, it's almost verse. Oh, never mind. I'm tripping. Okay, verse 18. It says, now therefore walk before me and be perfect and keep my commands. Oh, I like the way they worded this. For to you and to your seed I will give this land for an inheritance, from the river Mitzrayim to the great river Euphrates. And you shall come to your fathers in peace and in good age. And the fourth generation shall return here to this land and shall inherit it forever. And Abraham built an altar, and and he called on the name of Yahweh who appeared to him, and he brought up sacrifices on the altar to Yahweh. At that time, Abraham returned and went to Haran to see his father and mother and his father's household. And Abraham and his wife and all belonging to him returned to Haran, and Abraham dwelt in Haran 5 years. And many of the people of Haran, about 72 men, followed Abraham, and Abraham taught them the instruction of Yahweh and his ways. And he taught them to know Yahweh. In those days Yahweh appeared to Abraham in Haran, and he said to him, behold, I spoke to you these 20 years back, saying, go forth from your land, from your birthplace, and from your father's house, to the land which I have shown to you, to give it to you and to your children. For there in that land will I bless you, and make you a great nation, and make your name great. And in you shall the families of the earth be blessed. Now therefore arise, go forth from this place, you, your wife, and all belonging to you, also everyone born in your house, and all the souls you have made in Haran, and bring them out with you from here, and rise to return to the land of Canaan. And Abram arose and took his wife Sarai and all belonging to him, and all that were born to him in his house, and and the souls which they had made in Haran. And they came out to go to the land of Canaan. And Abram went and returned to the land of Canaan, according to the word of Yahweh. Mm. And Lot, the son of his brother Haran, went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he went forth from Haran to return to the land of Canaan. I almost lost where I was reading at. And he came to the land of Canaan. Did I say that right? Canaan, according to the word of Yahweh, to Abram. And he pitched his tent, and he dwelt in the plain of Mamre. And with his arm was Lot, his brother's son, and all belonging to him. And Yahweh again appeared to Abram and said, to your seed will I give this land. And he there built an altar to Yahweh who appeared to him, which is still to this day in the plains of Mamre. Chapter 14. Okay, so I'm done for now. I see y'all over there having a good time. Okay, now I can actually catch up with y'all. So what did y'all think? Was it good? Was it bad? I was over here laughing here and there, like it was funny moments in there. Chapter 11 was funny when Abraham broke the idols. Um, it seemed like his dad Terah might be getting it together. Hopefully, don't know, but yeah, it was good. It still good to me. I had to move something on my computer. So what did y'all think? Jen and Caddy? I don't know. Have y'all ever read this book before? I don't think. What, Caddy? I think you said you. How far did you get in this book? And I'm gonna go. get some dip real quick. I'll be back. Hold on, baby. Oh, I should have got it. I sure should have. Hold on, I'll be right back. I should have got this. Oh, okay, I'm back. Mm-mm-mm. It was good, says Jen. I haven't read this book, says Jen. Okay. Katie says it was great. I love the Bram's jokes. Jen says I'm barely in the book of Enoch. Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's a good one too. Yep. I forgot I still got the screen showing. My bad. It says it's four people. Well, I don't know. I only see y'all two in the comments, but maybe it's more people watching. I just don't know. So, how far did you get, Caddy, when you said you started reading the book of Jasher? Like, did you get this far? If I have the information right, I don't know how that went. And do y'all hear an echo or is the audio good? Um, let's see. Caddy says, I'm at where you ended last. Oh, so I'm caught up. Good, good. Okay, okay. What I'm talking about. So, I'm gonna try to read some more Tuesday. I think I'm gonna do it Tuesday. I think I'm gonna try to do. Now this might not happen, but this is a might right here. I might try to do Fridays and Tuesdays, Book of Jasher, but definitely Tuesdays and most high willing anyway. And then Saturdays, Jubilees. I think that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm ready to read Jubilees. I haven't read the whole thing yet. Audio is good, says Jen. Thank you. And Caddy says, one is my friend Jerbear. What? What you mean? Oh, gotcha. I know what you're talking about now. Well, hello to Jerbear. If I said it right, I'm gonna eat. You know what? I ain't even gonna do y'all like this. I was gonna eat on this live, but I think I'm gonna change my mind. I think I'm gonna go and eat offline. That's what I think I should do. I'm glad my shirt ain't in the video like that because this shirt is old. It don't look too. I don't know how it look to y'all, but I guess it don't look too bad. Let me see. It's alright. It's alright. But this shirt is. It's okay. The most I blessed me with some new shirts. So yeah, this is just the shirt I had on, and I was like just ready to go live. I'm like, you know what? I'm going like this. The shirt actually looks worse than what y'all can see. You probably can't tell, but it's got bleach stains on it, like bleach spots. when the COVID started, I was at my old job in the mornings, and I was spraying um, bleach on like the rags or whatever we was using, or just spraying it, and some of the bleach got on my shirt, messed up my shirt, because they wanted me to wipe down and sanitize stuff before everybody came in and after lunch or before lunch or whatever. They wanted me to do it like 3 times a day. So I messed up a couple of my um I messed up my coat like that. One of them messed up a few shirts like that. But oh well, my shirt has bleach spots too. Yeah, and guess what? Since I bought this, well, since I been in this apartment, maybe about 6 months or five. I know definitely 5. I have never bought bleach. I don't use it right now, but I might use it in the future. But I have never bought it, so I haven't had to worry about bleach messing with my clothes. Well, from my own, from like me buying it, but when I'm in the stores, I remember like somehow I was wearing this black Puma hoodie, zip up hoodie. Somehow it got bleach on it. And I think it's because when they sanitized the carts and I had like a cart and I must have rubbed up against the cart and it messed up my hoodie. Cause I know I ain't do it. I don't deal with bleach. So had to be from that. That's all I can think of. Your shirts got it. I got you, Jen. So Jen, you gonna help me read some books online? I'm a trip. I wonder. I'm trying to do something. Nah, you can't do that. I want to test out that 4K camera. I wonder like how good of a camera it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, Jen. All right, cool. Well, maybe when we're in a live together, you can join me live and help me read. And if I get hungry or something, you can take over, and then I'll be in the background eating. Yeah, that's right. And then when I'm done, I can read. Or if you need me to read, I'll come back and read. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll end the I'm gonna end the video and keep it about this short. I mean, it's still long. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes and some change. But yeah, I'll leave it this short, and I guess we'll hang out another night, maybe eating pie. Yeah, I don't know what I'm be eating though. I might be eating pie or something else. I'm gonna eat some chips and dip now. I really wanted some cereal, but I ain't got no milk. Ain't that something? I forgot to buy some milk. I could have bought it too, but I didn't. I ain't want to buy too much, so I ain't buy it. But I could have had. Gotta stock up on milk now. It's all good. I'm gonna eat these chips and dip though. Watch me some YouTube videos. I don't know. I don't have anything to watch specifically. I try to look for stuff that I need to see or that will benefit me, but I can't think of anything. So I just be watching what they suggest, and it'd be alright. But it ain't all that. Um, Jen says you have bananas. Nah, I ate my. You know what? I don't even buy too many because I know me. I let them sit up there until they start going brown and all that, and then I don't like them then. But so I just try to buy like one or two and eat it quickly. So I ate the little I bought. I think I just bought one or two, maybe one. I think I just bought one. That's gone. I ain't buy any groceries this week though. I bought them like last. It was before last Saturday. I know. Probably last Friday. And it's all lasted to now. So, um, Caddy says, "What kind of camera?" It's like a 4K. Maybe I can pull it up on the screen. I know it's a 4K webcam. It might be a Logitech. I'm not sure. Let's see. I know I seen it when I was. Let me see. 4K webcam. One of them is a Logitech. Um, I'm gonna share the screen so y'all can see it. Is it sharing it? Add to screen. There it is. So these are some of. Oh dang, that was cheap. Oh dang, I didn't know it was that cheap. The one I saw was like this. This must be the one I was looking at. 'Cause this thing is about right. Um, but some of them cheap. I wonder how good they look. I mean, the 4K. Mm-hmm. I don't think I should mess with it. Mm, mm-hmm. But that's it. Um, make banana milk says Jen. I don't do that. um, Caddy says yes. We have no bananas. We have no bananas today. Okay. Also, do you watch KJ scariest movie ever? I don't even know what that is. So no. Hmm. I'm gonna try something while I'm in here real quick. Audio. I'm gonna switch the audio from my AT 2020 that I'm talking through right here with the blue light, and I'm gonna switch it to the webcam's audio and see how it sounds. Okay, let me know if y'all hear any difference. I'm probably louder, but if you hear any bad audio, let me know. Because I might have to change it back. I'm curious, can I change the webcam in the video too? Oh, I'll have to move that. Oh, wow, I'm way up there now. This is my laptop webcam. I don't like using that one, but it's better than my other laptop. Okay, I'm gonna switch back. I'm messing around in here, ain't I? Let's see. It's a channel. Yeah, I thought it was. I'm gonna try one more thing while I'm in here before I go, because I have never did this. Echo cancellation gone. So I just took this echo cancellation off. I want to see the difference. I don't think I seen that channel though. Yeah, me either. Oh man, scariest movie ever. Okay, okay. Like right now, I was trying to think of what to watch and I can't think of anything. Maybe I should watch an actual movie. It's been a long time since I watched an actual movie. Oh man. I remember I was watching like categories of movies. I was watching angel movies, stock market movies. At one point, I was doing like, was it angels and demons movies? Maybe. I was doing I was watching the X-Men cartoon at one point. I don't even know if I finished it. I probably did. I know what I want to see. I want to see this cartoon called Darkwing Duck. I want to get that, but I don't know if I'm ready for that era yet. Cause I'm gonna be presenting information from it on YouTube. Watch the Gospel of John movie. I might have seen it. They might have a few of them. Watch that channel. He used to work in Hollywood, but woke up and makes videos and movies on it. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. My hunger's increasing. I'm gonna see y'all most I willing in another video. Peace be to the saints, and thank y'all for joining me and hanging out. And thank you, Jen, for being willing to read with me in the future. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later, most I willing. My stomach growled. I don't know if y'all heard that. Let me get out of here.